Monday, checking in with your $1 Million Thoughts video for Friday, September the 25th of 2015. And do I ever have a word burning within me for somebody watching this video? You know, ladies and gentlemen, there comes a time in a person's life where it requires you to make a statement. Yet, most people, I find, will make an excuse instead of a statement. Back in March of 2012, in my home, I had a sudden cardiac arrest. They call that, in medical terminology, sudden cardiac death, because it wasn't really a heart attack. It's when your heart stops completely. And within 10 seconds of being placed in the ambulance, that's exactly what happened to me. My heart stopped immediately, and I was able to be worked on by the paramedics, who did life-saving measures to save my life. Shocked me 2 times to bring me back, and I survived overwhelming odds. The survival rate for an out-of-hospital sudden cardiac arrest is less than 1%, less than 1%. 9 people out of 10 people, if this occurs outside of a hospital, will not make it, or if they do make it, they'll usually have some sort of mental deficit or other problems because of the lack of blood flow and oxygen to the vital organs and to the brain. And yet, I remember being in the cardiac intensive care unit of that hospital after I had survived this, and I was very clear on the fact that the Lord had saved me for a reason, that I had had my gifts and my abilities and my talents left intact, and it wasn't just to make money and to run my business. And I remember coming home the first day from the hospital, and one of the first things that I did was I made a statement. One of the first things that I did is Vicki and I, we walked to the end of the block and back. Now, that may not seem like a whole bunch to you, but let me tell you something. For somebody that has come through the fire of that experience, that was a very big deal. And I remember Vicki being worried about it and saying, "Honey, are you sure?" And I said, "Honey, before I can take the mountain, I've got to take the block. Before I can take the mountain, I've got to take the block." And ladies and gentlemen, it is so true. Within 90 days of being released from the hospital, I actually wrote a book called God Says When about that experience, published it on Amazon. Very happy to tell you that became a best-selling book, right next to Joel Osteen's book and T.D. Jakes' book for one day, but still we were able to do that. Very proud about that. But I've said all that to say this, that within that 90-day period, I went to the shopping center and I saw the ambulance that I actually, had this experience in and died in. And I found the paramedics. They were having a bite to eat, and I approached them and I let them know. I said, I want you to know something. That ambulance you're driving, I said, I actually died in that ambulance. And I shared the story. And ladies and gentlemen, they were blown away. They said, "Sir, you have no idea of the Powerball type odds that you survived." And they said, "We can't believe you're even walking up to us." They said, "We take people to the hospital that had your condition, but they don't walk out usually. The majority of them don't survive, and they certainly don't walk out. You've overcome incredible odds to survive, and thank you for sharing." And I thank them for their service to the community. And I want you to know that after I got done saying thank you, I walked back to the parking lot. And I walked up to that ambulance, and I knocked on the side of that ambulance. I made a statement, ladies and gentlemen. I let it be known that I'm still here, and I'm still on the mountaintop, and I'm not going away anytime soon. Ladies and gentlemen, there are times in your life when you've been through the fire, you've been through circumstances and situations and events in your life that were devastating, that would have caused a normal human being to give up and to quit, and yet you are still here. And ladies and gentlemen, you have got to make a statement sometimes. You've got to make a statement. That dream and that vision that the Lord has blessed you with, that is birthed within your spirit, it was put there for a reason. It was put there divinely for a reason. And if you're listening to this, don't allow those situations that occurred in your life to stop you from your destiny being fulfilled. There are times you've got to make a statement and not make an excuse. And there are some of you watching this video, and what you've been doing is you've been making excuses instead of making a statement. And you've got to make a statement. And I'm well qualified, and trust me when I tell you, I've earned the right to speak to you in this manner. You've got to make a statement, not an excuse. Excuse making is over. Ladies and gentlemen, if the Lord could breathe life into my dead body after being dead for 2 minutes, well, I have news for you. He can still do a miracle for you, regardless of what you may be facing, regardless of what a doctor may have told you, regardless of what the judge has to say, regardless of what the economy is. I want you to know God is not moved by your problems. He's moved by your faith. By your faith. And if he can breathe life into my dead body, well, he can still do a miracle for you. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to stop making excuses, and it's time to start making a statement. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. If you like this video, I'm going to be doing it every Friday as I can. I'll do it every Friday. It's $1 Million Thoughts video. If you like it, leave your feedback, your comments, like the video, share the video, tag somebody that you think needs to hear this word. And I'll see you next week on your $1 Million Thoughts video. Somebody hit my music! Sometimes you just got to do a prosperity dance. You know that sometimes. Plant your flag, stake your claim, and we'll see you next time on your $1 Million Thoughts video.